coordinates or heading. The plane is flying 650 kilometers an hour and banking hard. Like a quick turn in a sports car, the dramatic movement of the airplane begins to push everyone into their seats.
Guys!
The A310's autopilot works to keep the plane aloft. Suddenly, the nose pitches up. The increased G-force makes it difficult for Piskarev to reach the controls. With one hand, he does his best, but nothing happens. Piskarev's hard turn to the left has had no effect on the plane.
Hold it. Hold the control column.
Eldar is the only one with both hands on the controls. He can only follow the most basic orders. He can't get up because the speed of the turn is pushing him back into his seat.
Turning to the left.
To the left. To the left now. To the right. The other way. I am turning it left. Okay, get out.
Eldar has been in the pilot seat for just over 4 minutes. And now he can't leave. His body feels twice its normal weight.
Get out! Get out!
Kudrinsky can do nothing but struggle against the crippling G-forces. The airplane is plunging towards Siberia, and there's nothing anyone can do.
Crawl out to the back. Get out! Get out! Get out!
Russian Airlines Flight 593 to Hong Kong is in serious trouble.
They're sticking out!
The pilot's 15-year-old son has been at the controls for 4 minutes. The plane is turning steeply and losing altitude.
The other way!
Captain Kudrinsky desperately needs to get back into the pilot's seat, but he can barely move. The plane is turning so steeply and so quickly, the G-forces on his body make it feel like it's twice its normal weight. Everyone on board now feels the force of the plane's dramatic movements. Realizing there's a serious crisis, Captain Danilov tries to return to the cockpit. But he too is squashed by the powerful forces created by the plane's extreme banking. The plane still isn't responding. To add to their confusion, an alarm begins to sound. It signals the complete shutdown of the autopilot. The plane is now completely in the hands of Eldar. And to make matters even worse, there's another alarm.
The other way! The other way!
The plane is about to stall.
Now to the right!
An automatic safety system kicks in to keep the plane flying. It lowers the nose and puts the Airbus into a steep dive to regain speed.
There's the ground!
The plane dives at a frightening 200 meters per second. For people on board, it's like having an elevator fall out from under them. In just seconds, the heavy pressure of the high-speed turn is replaced by mere weightlessness. As the plane suddenly drops away, it's now a very dangerous environment. People and objects that are not secured will land anywhere once gravity returns. They've been flying at 10,000 meters, but now they're falling fast. Unless the crew does something quickly, the plane will hit the ground in less than a minute. Piskarev yanks back on the control column as hard as he can to pull the Airbus out of the dive. The airplane's nose finally turns up, and the aircraft begins climbing quickly. Gravity now returns with a shock. As the plane climbs, the rapid acceleration pushes people down relentlessly. The dramatic change in speed makes everyone feel 4 times heavier than normal. Meanwhile, First Officer Piskarev is still trying to gain control of the airplane.
Thrust levers! Too slow!
He's pulled the Airbus out of its dive, but it's climbing too quickly. The engines on the A310 don't have enough power to push it almost vertically into the sky. Their airspeed drops dramatically. The plane strains to climb, but it's been pushed too far. As normal gravity returns, Kudrinsky leaps into action. But Piskarev has stalled the plane. The nose drops into a corkscrew dive. Now the Airbus is twisting towards the ground from 6,000 meters at a breathtaking 70 meters a second.
Full throttle!
For the first time since the crisis began, captain and co-pilot can work together to save the plane.
Throttle, no? I got it. I have full throttle.
Kudrinsky pumps the rudders, which control a vertical flap on the tail that helps slow the spin.
What's the speed? I don't see it.
At last, the airplane's dive is slowing down. Working the rudders, Kudrinsky has nearly stopped the corkscrew dive.
Coming out. Coming out. Too much speed. He's back on throttle a bit.
After a desperate struggle, the two pilots have managed to pull the plane out of its terrifying spin. They're level, but still not completely in control.
We'll get out of this. Everything is fine. Easy. Pull backwards a little bit.
In all of the chaos of the past 6 minutes, the pilots don't know exactly how far they've fallen, and suddenly, they run out of time.
Sierra Uniform 593, this is Novokuznetsk area control. Please come in.
Air traffic controllers in Russia have lost contact with a passenger jet bound for Hong Kong. Their worst fears are soon confirmed.
Area control, please come in.
Less than 2 hours later, the first search party goes out to look for the Airbus in the frozen, rugged Siberian wilderness. They finally locate the remains of Flight 593 on a wooded hillside about 100 kilometers east of Novokuznetsk. It's soon clear there are no survivors among the 75 passengers and crew. This was a brand new airplane, fitted with the latest technology. What could have brought it down? Why was there no warning, not even a distress signal? The Russian media are quick to speculate. Could it have been a terrorist bomb?
When I was in Moscow, the news we had that it could have been a terrorist act, because we had terrorist acts on aircraft previously. We was completely unaware, other than that nobody had survived it.
Потом какое-то время не говорили конкретно что.
For some time, they wouldn't tell me anything specific. And only on the next day, the airline director told me there was no hope whatsoever. It was a horrible moment, of course. Horrible. It's hard to believe.
AeroFlot flies the families of the deceased out to Moscow. Amongst them is Brenda Clark, the mother of British passenger Mark Newport.
We met my daughter-in-law there. They've told us, it's cordoned off. We can't go down there. And she said, you can go down there, Brenda, because the Chinese are down there. They have to do rituals and things, And so she said, they're down there. That's when I knew they'd lied to me and said that it's cordoned off. And that's when I told them, I want to go down, and if you don't take me down, then I've done a lift.
The authorities take them to where the accident happened. Relatives of Chinese victims draw pieces of paper with messages written on them. Others throw flowers.
Yeah, that was really moving. We had the flowers, they had the little, they wrote messages on, I think, on these pieces of paper, and they threw them out. It's lovely. Yeah.
The families are taken to a morgue near the crash site, where the recovered bodies are being held. Many are too badly mutilated to be identified. They ask the families to look at recovered bits of clothing to help identify the bodies. Brenda Clark finds her son's family photographs. It sends a chill through her. For the first time, she knows for certain he was on the flight. The recovery operation gets underway. The Russian government mobilizes 238 soldiers, police, investigators, and rescuers. Everyone in the aviation world wants to know how a brand new, state-of-the-art Airbus could fall out of the sky without any warning. Does the A310 have problems no one knows about? They need to find out fast. Chief Accident Investigator Ivan Mashkivsky is in charge. The crash site itself offers few clues. The ones he does have are puzzling. Unbroken bottles of champagne, a flight attendant in an oxygen mask, and finally, the bodies of 2 children thrown into the cockpit. The plane's digital flight data recorder indicates the engines were running when it hit the ground. He rules out engine failure. Mashkivsky needs the expertise of a man who knows the A310 well. Someone who can also recreate the final flight and find out what exactly went wrong. Vladimir Beoing is an experienced test pilot and crash investigator at the Gromov Institute in Moscow. He's an expert on the A310 Airbus. Beoing was directly involved in testing and certifying the airplane prior to the Russians buying it.
Because of the fate of this plane, the fate of this airline, my first reaction was shock. How could such a thing happen? All I knew was that the plane had crashed somewhere over Siberia. I remember spending a sleepless night, distraught, and trying to figure out what might have happened and what could have caused it.
Yeah, come.
I think you should come and listen to this.
Each investigation begins with a complete analysis of the plane's cockpit voice recorder. This time it reveals something disturbing.
No, come and sit in my seat. Would you like to? Come.
Daddy, can I turn to you?
Yeah.
Kudrinsky was in the pilot seat, wasn't he?
According to the diagram.
Can I turn this a bit?
Yeah, but if you turn it to the left, where will the plane go?
Left.
Right. Look out. Again.
Can I turn this a bit?
Yeah, but if you turn it to the left, where will the plane go?
10 years ago, it wasn't unusual for people